A lot of you have asked how to build the bee boxes, the Carpenter Bee boxes. So I'm going to show you what I think is probably the simplest, easiest, fastest, cheapest way to build an effective Carpenter Bee Trap. Here's what you need. You'll need a drill with a 1/2-inch drill bit. You'll need a drill with a paddle wheel drill bit or some type of drill bit that you can get up to around 3/4 inch plus or minus size. I'm using a 13/16 paddle wheel bit on here. Now obviously you don't need 2 drills. You can use a standard drill to do both. You need a 4x4 post, and let me show you. All you need is a short section of 4x4. And then you will need a mason jar, quart or pint, or any other size with a standard or wide mouth lid. It doesn't matter. And then as added protection, and I'll tell you more about this later, you need just a water bottle, some type of plastic bottle. It can be a Coke or anything, but just a disposable, throwaway, drag it out of the trash, plastic bottle. The first thing I'm going to do is put my paddle wheel bit in the drill, and then I'm going to see if I was to go all the way up in that board where that would end. And then I want to add just maybe an inch on top of that. So I'll just mark. I'll mark here about 1 inch above that drill bit. That'll leave me a little room at the top. And what that mark is simply where I'm going to cut this 4x4. Now having a miter saw is nice, but you can cut it with anything. Anything from a hacksaw to a chainsaw. It doesn't matter. Some way to get that 4x4 board cut. Here we go. And just like that, we've got our piece of wood that we're going to use for the bee trap. Now take a straight edge of any kind and let's just mark from corner to corner. We'll take a pencil and we'll draw us a straight line across, and we'll do the same thing the other way. And that will give us center of the board. That's what we're looking for right there, center. Now we're simply going to take our paddle wheel bit and we're going to go straight down, as straight as we can, into this until it bottoms out. And just like that, we've got our hole down the center. Now we're going to drill our entrance holes. Come up about 1/3 of the way. I'm going to do about 2 inches all the way around and mark the center about 2 inches up on this 4x4. Now we want to get our 1/2-inch bit, and we're going to drill these holes, but we're not going to drill them straight in. We're going to drill them at an upward angle somewhere around 45 degrees until we feel it hit that center cavity that we drilled in the end of this. Now just clean around the perimeters of the hole. Make sure there's nothing sticking across there to block it. You may take your pocket knife or something and smooth that out. And then I'm going to run this drill down one more time just to make sure there's nothing down in there blocking. And now we've got our block of wood with all of our holes. Now the way this works is you take the lid of the jar and the ring. You place the lid inside the ring and then center it over the hole. Now simply as a precaution, I'm going to pre-drill 2 holes into this and through the wood because our holes are going to be pretty close to the large hole in the center and I don't want to risk any splitting. So I'm going to lay it center on here and I'm going to pre-drill a couple of holes off to the side. Be sure that you don't get them so far that it'll actually interfere with your jar screwing in. Now take a couple of screws, it really doesn't matter what kind, and screw the lid down to the wood. Now that lid's not going anywhere, but we've got to put that center hole in. Pretty much any type of drill bit will go through this thin lid, including this paddle wheel, so let's just drill it with the same paddle wheel bit that I drilled the hole with. Now as an added precaution, we're going to cut this water bottle lid off of the top of the water bottle. This is simply an excluder. It makes it impossible for that bee to go back up through this hole. Now I'm just going to hot glue this right on top of the lid. A little tip, your hot glue may not want to stick to that slick lid. If that's the case, just pile up a little extra where the screws are. That hot glue will really grab those screws. You're almost there. Now you can screw your jar onto the bottom and you need to put something to hang it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take a 1x and I'm going to screw to the top, and then I will screw this to my eave. And just like that, we're done. I went ahead and put the 2 screws in here so that we're ready to screw it up once we locate a place to put it. It is ready for action. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. There's really nothing to it. I hope you can help control the damage that the carpenter bees are doing around your house. And if you enjoyed this, I would really appreciate a follow. Listen, thanks for watching and have an amazing day.